The Ponziani defense is a sharp and aggressive weapon that will give you a huge advantage over your opponents and also has one of the highest win rates of any other opening. In fact, Magnus Carlsen once used it to mercilessly crush his Grandmaster opponent. Without further ado, let's learn the Ponziani defense. So, the Ponziani occurs after the moves e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and now we play c3, the Ponziani. The idea, of course, is to go for this move d4. Black's most popular move, and undoubtedly the best move, is knight f6. It attacks our e4 pawn. Now we go d4. Once again, Black's most popular and best move is to take our e4 pawn with the knight, and now we push a d5, attacking this knight. Now the knight has a few moves, most of them are really bad. Knight a5 is probably the worst move here, as b4, for example, it's trapped, it's got nowhere to go. And if it were to go anywhere else, for example, b8, undeveloping your knight like that is just really bad. You never want to undevelop your home square. So most players will play knight e7. And now, we're gonna take on e5. There's a little trap here that 80% of players with the black pieces have fallen for. So many players with black will notice the knight in the center on e5 and they'll find it annoying. And so they'll wish to get rid of it. And so they might play d6. Now here we are completely winning. We're gonna play bishop b5 check. Remember, 80% of players have fallen for this. And then they might play c6 to block the check. Now we'll simply capture it. And if they take our knight, because it looks free, we can take on b7. It's a discovered check. And now they block with the bishop. After the following sequences of moves, we are simply completely winning. So going back to the d5 move, right here, Black doesn't have to move their knight. In fact, they shouldn't move their knight. The best move here is to sacrifice the knight with bishop c5. We should take the knight, and now they should take on f2 a check. If they take with the knight, then queen d5 attacks the bishop and this pawn, and we are slightly better. Computer evaluates as equal, but I think most players will black will simply crumble. So they should take the f2 pawn with check, and now we move our king up. They retreat back to b6, and we play queen d5. This is slightly scary for us, but the computer evaluates this as equal, and remember, we are up a knight. Most players, even at the 2000 level, won't play this, so you don't have to be too worried about this line. Also, instead of d6 here, some players will know this trap, and the best move they might play is knight g6. But however, there is another trap. We're going to play the seemingly natural looking move bishop d3. If Black decides to take our e5 knight, we simply take their knight. So Black here might think, okay, well, I'm going to lose this knight anyway, I might as well win a pawn while I'm at it. Thinking, okay, king takes, knight takes, Black should be better, right? However, we don't do that. Instead, we're going to sacrifice our queen with bishop takes g6. They take our queen, and now we take on f7 with check. They move our king up, and we go bishop g5 check. King d6. We could take the queen here, but we're going for checkmate. At c4 check. King c5 on the legal move, and now knight a3, protecting our knight. Now, if Black decides to take the bishop, b4 is a pawn checkmate. If they decide instead to eliminate this pawn that was supposed to deliver checkmate, bishop e3 is checkmate. And if instead they do anything else preventing the pawn checkmate, like a5, we can simply take the queen, we're up a knight, and we're gonna win this knight too, so we should be completely winning. And also here, if they decide to take with the knight instead of the pawn, we can still take on knight c6, and when they take, We go bishop here, we're forking the king, rook, and knight. So they block with the bishop, we take the knight. We don't want to take the rook because a bishop for a rook is not as good as winning a full knight. We're up a knight and a pawn, we should be completely winning. Now, if they don't take and instead move their queen to b6, which looks scary because it threatens checkmate on f2 and also threatens the bishop on b5. We go knight d4, giving a discovered check, protecting our bishop and simultaneously interfering with the queen's checkmate threat. Here, if they go bishop d7, we can simply take and then go queen g4 check and pick up the knight. We're up 6 points of material, 2 minor pieces, and we should be completely winning. That's it for the Ponziani defense. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe.